All right. Welcome back, listener, to the Forest Brothers podcast. It's your boy, Mutsa Kristan, back in the cut with my brothers Nkosi and Samson. What's goody, brothers? What's goody? What's goody? What's goody? All right. So, listener, in this episode here, we're actually talking about Spurs. We are talking about Tottenham Hotspur, my team. And in case you don't know, unfortunately, we did not have a good weekend this weekend. We lost to Ipswich 2-1. And as you may or may not know, Ipswich is bottom. Well, I guess they're out of the bottom three now because they beat us. So they're actually like 16th, I believe. And yeah, it seems Spurs likes giving these bottom tier teams a little boost because, as you may know, 2 weeks ago we lost to Crystal Palace, and that was Crystal Palace's first win. Ipswich, this is their first win all season. For some reason, we just love handing out these. Oh, here's your first win, buddy. And to make it even worse, we were home. We didn't go there. They came to us and they still beat us in the theater of dreams. And, you know, I don't know, man. I don't know what to say about Spurs, to be honest with you. It's disgusting. It's embarrassing. It's humiliating. It's infuriating. I was sitting there watching that game and I just couldn't believe what I was seeing. Like I was completely shocked because we totally eviscerated Aston Villa last week. Like we killed them 4-1. Like we bashed them. Like and Everton is. I mean, Aston Villa is a really good team. Well, they're decent. They're not a bad team at all. Like they're a good team. And to go to that and then you know, obviously, we can also talk about the fact that Tottenham played a really tough game against Galatasaray during the midweek. And so it's difficult to go to Turkey. That was a really tough game. We went down 10 men as well. And so to play, a good portion of that game, 10 men, and to come back to the Premier League, it's tough. It goes back to what we're saying about scheduling. But at the same time, it's Ipswich, right? That should not be a tough game. That's not a hard game. I feel like there should have been enough practice or enough. I don't know, man. Like it just, I don't even know where to start with that. Like it just, I don't know how Ange set that team up today, but Dragusin, oh my god, man. I used to feel sorry for him. Like he's not playing. We bought him for one. Come on, let's play the brother. And I'm now seeing like, what a waste of money. What a fucking waste. Dragusin is terrible, horrible, horrific. Like the combination of Dragusin and Romero, man, is just. I'm lost for words. I'm lost for words by what I see that brother do, and I'm just like, where did we get you from, bro? Where did you come from? Like, and I don't get it. I really don't get the things that he does on the pitch, and yeah, even the goals that we conceded, man. Spurs' defensive acumen is just. We might honestly be one of the worst defenses in the league. I think we were talking earlier about clean sheets. I think Spurs only has, 2 clean sheets? Maybe even 1. Like, we do not keep a clean sheet at all. We really don't. Vicario has not been on top of his game. Our defense, you put the ball in the box, they don't know what to do with it. Like, they might clear it, they might not. I think we depended a lot on Mickey Van Even, because number 1, he's tall, and number 2, he's quick. And so I think there's a lot of dependence on that. Like, okay, if something comes in the box, he's gonna hit it out. If something comes and you need to make space, and he's the one who's gonna get the ball and he's gonna run out, and like that's our outlet. Without him, our only other person is maybe Poro. I know Udogi is there, but I don't know. I don't know what happens. I really don't get it. And yeah, man, Johnson missed the sitter. Johnson could have scored earlier on, and he didn't score. Our midfield, honestly, I don't know, man. I really have no idea. I mean, in the Galatasaray game, Lancashire actually scored, I believe, a couple of goals or a goal. I don't know why Ange didn't play him today. Yeah, he got a red card, but that's in Europe. That's not going to count towards the Premier League. I don't believe that. I don't think Europa red cards matter in the Premier League. So I don't know why he didn't throw that brother on to give him a chance. Anyway, that's my little spiel on Spurs. As I was saying in another episode, Spurs, the one word that describes us this season is inconsistent. We can go to beating Manchester City, go lose to Crystal Palace, go win against Aston Villa, and then go lose to Ipswich. And it's like, hey yo, where's the shy? Where's the shame? Why? 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 That's all I was doing. Rory Delap's son scored against us. Why? I mean, okay, he's been banging goals, the brother Delap, but come on, man, come on, man. Anyways, I guess I'll check it to the boy Mangoro because I'm tired, man. And now you guys are gonna have it in for me, so by all means, I'll hold whatever you have to give it to whatever you have to give to me today. But I really want to talk about Ange and whether he's the right man for this job. I'm starting to lose faith. I cannot lie. I don't know if he can do it. I really don't know if he can do it. But I also don't know who can. I saw Mauricio will be happy to come back. He's not at the job right now. I don't think he's coaching anybody. Pochettino, please come back. Poach, come back, man. I've never. Come back. You can win a trophy with us. Just come back. I miss Mauricio. I can't lie. I miss my brother Mauricio. I cannot handle this Australian brother anymore. I'm sorry. I just have to say that. Anyway, Mr. Mangoro, what's your take on Spurs right now and whether you think Big Ange is right for the job?
I'll start by providing a point of clarification. Mauricio Sacchettino is currently employed by United States of America's men's soccer team. He's currently employed, so you can't get your hands on him. On beating Man City, I think you need to stop mentioning that. I think it's very misleading. You beat the F team, so just to put it out there and be clear. But when we look at Spurs, I know next month is Christmas. We have Thanksgiving this November, but you just the gifts that keeps on giving. Like you taking people out of relegation zone. You give hope to these managers. The other week it was Oliver Glasner. He was on the chopping block. You gave him a lifeline. He went out of the relegation zone. He's back in it today because you contributed some more. You took him out of the relegation zone. You gave Kieran McKenna his first win of the season, as you mentioned. So you just giving, and there's some aspects where I think we need to have a serious conversation about Tottenham Hotspur. Uh, it's now turning into you mentioned theater of dreams. It's now the theater of nightmares because at home Arsenal came there, they did whatever they wanted. Gabriel was there towering over your defenders. Today it was Liam Delap, and it's just not great. I can't tell you nine of the 11 players that Ipswich fielded today. It was like, who is this character today? The only two I knew were Liam Delap because he's an ex-City. I know his dad, former Stoke player, one of the best throw-in guys in the Premier League, and Omari Hutchinson because he was on our balance sheet there at Chelsea as pure profit. So those are the only two guys I knew. But everyone else was like, who are these characters? Smodix. I was like, where did you find this one? Uh, like Muric. I was like, oh, Muric sounds familiar. Then I looked him up. Got relegated with Burnley last season. And I was like, what? Just so many bad players here. And they ended up beating you guys. And it's just not great there at Tottenham Hotspur. And when I say a serious conversation needs to be had, I think we're at that point where it's not a manager thing. We just have to establish that Spurs, in all honesty, and this is just not flack or anything, it's just the honest truth. Spurs are not a top six side. Spurs are just a team that is in the Premier League to participate. They're there for participation points and participation trophies. If in a sea, I think Spurs fans and also like the management and the coaches and every the media, they need to stop this hype about Spurs. We saw it last season. What happened? We're seeing it this season. Spurs are the team that they're supposed to be. If in a season Spurs finish between eighth and 12th, I think even eighth is being generous. But like if they finish between 10th and 12th, I think we should consider that a good season for Spurs. That's just who they are, like in all honesty. Because when you look at them, like I don't know, we can't say Spurs are a team to take seriously. But when we look at the personnel and we look at the direction the team is going, we're seeing what I call the Edward Mendy effect. from the one from the goalkeepers and the defenders, because and the manager at the helm, of course. Because in their first season, they all shone and were like, okay, this is Spurs. We can take them seriously now. And then now we're now seeing their true colors. Like you mentioned, Vicario. This is Vicario. There was a reason why Vicario was 20 million last summer, and you thought you had a bargain. There was a reason why that was the case. Dragozin, same thing. There was a reason they wanted to give y'all Brennan Johnson because this is his level. Who else? James Madison. Last season, you cried about James Madison, saying he's the best. It's the best thing since sliced bread. This is his level. There's James Madison. You see him comes off the bench, and then you look at the manager. He came from Australia, and then he went to Celtic. Like he used to manage a team called Kolkata something, Raiders or something. You don't even know what that is, and that's the guy you have at the helm. And you tell me you're going to do serious damage in the Premier League? That's your manager. So it's just fraudulent business being done there at Tottenham across the board. And this is the same manager that's sanctioned after Timo Werner had an absolute disaster of a loan to bring him back. He sanctioned that. And this is the manager you're supposed to take seriously. Because, in all honesty, I think this is just who Spurs are. Let's stop lying to ourselves and saying Spurs are a top six side. They're going to be challenging. They're going to be doing serious damage in this league. They just that's not them. The true Spurs we're seeing now, and the bubble is burst, and we're seeing who's behind the mask, and it's maybe Eric Ten Hag. So, in all honesty, I don't know, man. Like that's just my interpretation of what I'm seeing there at Spurs. Samson, as someone who's next door, they've been making noise for years. They're going to derail Arsenal's title challenge. Do you kind of share the same sentiment as your as their neighbors?
Wait, I was gonna say before we go to Samson, two things. If by some chance Ange gets fired and Ten Hag gets hired, honestly, I don't know what I'll do. I think I'll choke myself on this pod. Like I think I'd literally like get a tie and just yeah, that'll be me quitting football forever. Like I'll be done at that point. I'm like I'm not watching soccer anymore. I think that at that right there, I would be. And the last thing I also say, and then something in chime in, I was gonna say that the other thing that made it extra painful today was if we actually beat Ipswich, we'll be above Arsenal. Would have been fourth because right now we have 16 points. For the one who gone on to 19, and would have actually been like top four. So I mean, okay, then that was before Arsenal drew to Chelsea. So but technically, when we played, Arsenal was still at 18 points, so we would actually have gotten above them. And that's what also made it hurt a little extra. The fact that I'm sure in the changing room, before the game started, Andrew told the guys like, guys, win this game, we are top four. All right, win the game, and we're up there. We can actually go into the international break feeling good about ourselves. But what do? We go and shit the bed. That's the stuff that hurts me. Like, where was your passion? What was like your? Come on, man! Like, what? And then the other thing I want to mention is, damn, I'm giving you all so much artillery, but I was gonna say, news came out. Hugo Lloris wrote a book, and in that book, he did mention that when we played our Champions League game against Liverpool, I think a week, like 2 days before that game, Levy gave each player a luxury watch that was engraved on it, finalist. This is before they play this is before we even play the final, and you say you're giving us a gift, you're giving the players a gift that says finalist. In what world? Why not? Okay, let us lose the game and then give out those watches and be like, hey guys, you know what? I'm proud of y'all. Here's a gift to say you did a good job. But no, this motherfucker was like, I'm gonna give you these watches before y'all go play the final. And what's that gonna? What's the message you're sending to the players? Like, oh, I know you guys are not gonna win that, but I just wanted to say, here's a watch to say, well done for coming second. That's what we believe. That's how good we think you guys are. And reading that broke my heart, man. That was embarrassing as fuck, man. Like I was like, come on, man. Like Levy, bro. Come on, man. Like it's everything about Spurs is just so embarrassing. Anyway, Samson, go ahead, man. Go ahead.
You were looking for a word that describes Spurs, their form, culture. There's only one word that could ever describe Spurs. Spursy. It exists and it's so unique. Everyone knows what it means. Spursy. That is what Spurs is. That's what they've been. That's what they'll always be. Spursy. And Ngor, you're asking me what I feel about our noisy neighbors. Well, they built a brand new toilet, and they have not stopped talking about it. Hey, look at our great toilet. Beyonce performs at our toilet. Does she perform at your toilet? We don't have a toilet. We have a stadium. But these guys, they love their toilet. The funny thing is, you're 10th. If you keep this up, you won't even be able to pay for that toilet. It's gonna get repossessed. Um, so y'all think about that when you try and make a decision on your coach. But yeah, just looking at Spurs, I was actually watching the goals back that you conceded. Smodjic or whatever his name is, overhead kick. He scored an overhead kick in your box. I couldn't. Who is this guy? Like, is he? I can't tell if he's amazing or if you guys would. He's probably not amazing. So you guys are probably terrible. But overhead kick, and then Delap. That's probably the easiest goal he's scored all season. Just a mess there at the back. Dragujin, I don't know what he was doing, but horrible. But yeah, he spoke about Lloris in his book. I think this is a time to have a wake up call because Big Ange actually defended Spurs. I forget his exact comments, but he came to Spurs' defense and Daniel Levy's defense. And I think, Ange, you're doing too much, bro. You're doing too much. Levy is not gonna he doesn't need you to do that. Like you're fine. You're fine. Let someone else say that because that book is a bad look for Spurs because it just shows the culture that's ingrained at the club, the mentality, the fact that going to the final was enough for anyone there. Just being there. I mean, obviously not for the players. They felt horrible that they got that gift, but everyone else was just like, "Oh, we're here. We're in the final. This is amazing. It's the best thing that's ever happened to us. I can die now." Like, that's not good enough. And if that's the mentality, that's how people want to function. It's no wonder why Spurs are Spursy. That's gonna creep up on you every now and then when things are going great. You're just gonna fall back into those habits. Like, oh, we beat Aston Villa 4-1. It's okay if we lose 2-1 to Ipswich. It's fine. We scored 4 goals last week. Hey, we did our best. Come on. And that's just once you have to start with that. You have to change that. And another thing with Ange, again, I'm not sure if he's the right guy for the job, but it's hard to evaluate that because he's also at Spurs. Spurs has broken better managers. Nuno Espirito Santo is fighting for top 4 at Forest. Forest! He could not crack 12th place at Spurs. I mean, Jesus. What? I don't know what it is about that club that breaks people down because I feel like there's something there that is beyond the manager. The manager can, and Ange has his faults, and I'll get to those. But there's something else that is bringing people down because you've had some great managers. Poch, the job he was doing with you guys, we could see it's phenomenal. He made players like Dele Alli household names. Great. You have Nuno who had done very well with Wolves, could not get a tune out of you guys. You had Conte, who's a serial winner. He could not win at Spurs. He won everywhere else. Then he came to Spurs, winning said no. You had the special one. He wins. That's his whole thing. Mourinho, like, if you ask him what makes you special, I'm a winner. I win everywhere. He couldn't win at Spurs. So I don't know. I feel like Daniel Levy, head of the snake, you got to look at that man. There's something he's doing. There's something about his management that is making this club stagnate and just stay in the same place. Even though financially you guys are, I hear you're knocking it out of the park, but we don't even see that in terms of the players you bring in. You know, yes, your financials are great, but your big signings are Timo Werner and Brennan Johnson. Like, what? He spent 50 million on Brennan Johnson, remember? 50. Anyways, moving on to Ange. Big Ange. Um, Big Ange has a problem because Big Ange, like I mentioned a few weeks ago, um, he's very aggressive in the way he likes to set up. And the thing about being very aggressive in your play style is that when it doesn't work initially, you are always going to be under pressure on the counter, which is how Ipswich scored both their goals, just counter-attack play. Now, obvious solution would be drop the line a little bit. That's the obvious solution. We talked about this last year when he turned Nico Jackson into Haaland for a day. Drop the line. You're missing your star centre back. The man who you create your whole tactic around is gone. Drop the line. The brother still wants to defend at the halfway line. I mean, at some point, we have to ask: is this man Pep, or is he just a fool? Like, because you can't. Even Pep doesn't do stuff like this. Even Pep plays four center backs. Pep doesn't do this. Pep understands that, yes, I want to play this progressive stuff, this beautiful stuff, but I also want to win games. So he will change certain things up to be pragmatic in certain ways, just so he can get through a game. Ange does not do that. And if you even going out from the defense, Bentancur is now your starting six. You have, I think, three other sixes of the club who are actually defensive midfielders. You're playing the number 8 in defensive midfield, and you're playing 2 10s each game. No one is defending in that midfield. Your wingers are not creating. Your striker is not scoring. Come on, man. I feel like so many things are going wrong that, obviously, like, it's hard to, like, just say, this is Ange's fault. A large part of it is, that's the player's fault. A large part of it is. But if if you're Ange and you see all these issues, you have to, like, at the very least, just drop the line. At the very least, play your defensive midfielders in defensive midfield instead of putting them on, and we spoke about this, putting them on at the 90th minute so they can get into the box to score. Why is that a thing that he keeps doing? I don't know. I really have no idea. So, yeah, a lot of things going on with Spurs. It's just Spursy behavior all around. That's all I can say. But yeah.
No, I think they need to get rid of this guy. I think the signs were there last season when they were playing Chelsea and we were there demolishing them. Could have been 10. Like, the signs were there. There's no way in hell when you're playing in the English Premier League with 9 players and you play on the halfway line and you're not even pressing. At least if you're pressing, you're forcing the opposition to hit it long or to panic because they're under pressure, because you've pressed, you've closed the spaces. But then, like, literally, Sterling and them were doing whatever they wanted. Like, literally, they could have been out there grabbing coffee while playing some of those passes. Like, it was just so free, and I knew that they had a problem. Like, I think you need to get rid of this guy. This ex Yokohama Marinos coach, he's not the one. He's not the one. Like this Spurs is just I don't know, just everything involving Spurs and Angelino's Postecoglou is just weird. Like I didn't know he was born in Greece. He was born in Athens. For the longest time, I thought he was Australian, but he's Greek. Like this is weird what happens there at Spurs. But in all honesty, y'all need to get rid of this guy. He talks a big game, spoke about how he wins trophies in his second season. Uh, there's no Melbourne Victory teams here where he came from here. This is the English Premier League. It's going to be shown that he doesn't win trophies here. This is a different league. So, in all honesty, one piece of advice I do have for Spurs and just in general, he is 59 years old. I just looked up the retirement age in Greece. It's 60. So in 2025, he will be 60. So put two and two together and you decide what you do next because, yeah, the numbers do speak for themselves. And as law abiding citizens, we have to follow the law. Over to you, Samson.
That's I have to say, dang, I just lost my train of thought. Anyway, yeah, I was gonna say I really do hate the fact that he did mention that I win a trophy in my second season. I wish he never said that. That just added a lot of unnecessary extra pressure. You know what would have been nice? Win the trophy and then be like, oh yeah, this is standard. This is what I actually usually do. I win a second trophy. I win a trophy my second year, and I'm like, yeah, man. Let us say it. Don't come out and say at the beginning of the season that I win in the second. No, bro. Let us say that, motherfucker. So yeah. Anyway, Ange, I think honestly at this point in time, I'll even take Graham Potter. I ain't gonna lie to you. I just want the consistency. Potter, at least we're not gonna lose games all the time. Give me Potter. If that's what it means, I just want a consistent. We defend, we score sometimes, but we defend, and I give it to me. Give me Potter. But anyway, listener, thank you so much for listening to the Forest Brothers podcast. There's a lot more to always say about Spurs, but I think that this was a good 30-minute bashing. And if you're listening to this, I think it's time to raise that white flag. Daniel Levy, if you're listening to this, please leave. Thank you very much. And yeah, with that, thank you so much, brothers, for hanging out. Thank you, listener, for hanging out on the First Brothers podcast. I'll let my brothers have a final goodbye. I know. We have to. The brother has to go soon. So Mangoro, ask what you say. Goodbye to the listeners and then Sange, and then we'll close the podcast here. Over to you, Mangoro.
Thank you, listener, for tuning into this comedy session there at the Toilet Bowl Stadium. Very interesting club, that one. But I do have a message for Daniel Levy or Joe Lewis. I think he owns the club. You have three options as managers. Just as a person who studies these managers, you can keep Ange. We love it as Chelsea supporters. You can bring in Graham Potter, as Musa said. Would even love it even more. But the crowning moment would definitely be he still lives in England. He recently became unemployed. They gave him his P45 up the road in Carrington, Eric Sevenhag. So be sure to connect the dots, employ him if you need to. We will be here as Chelsea supporters and thanking you for doing such things. Over to you, Samson.
Yeah, dear listener, thank you for hanging out with us at the Forest Brothers pod as we cook the brother and his Spurs. It's I think Ange is playing like 4D chess, bro. I like what Mangoro said about the retirement age. I think that man is working to get his severance check. Because I think he's looking at it as like, yo, I've worked for Celtic, I've worked for these clubs. I've never made bank like that. If I get fired right now, that's my whole retirement, just secure. And you know what? I respect the hustle, brother. I respect you. I respect the like now I thought this guy was a tactical genius. You are a tactical mastermind. Shout out to you, Big Ange. You've earned that nickname. And yeah, thank you for listening to us, Steelers, and we'll catch you on the next one.
Thank you, listener, and we'll see you later. Peace out.